the topic for this particular day or the webinar which we are going to like see here is this unveiling DevOps, the hands-on journey on this. So we are going to learn a lot of new topics out of that. Yes, I'm just like moving towards this thing. And before enter into the actual topic, so we want to like discuss about this the organization like which we are going to like interact with. So it's a small information about this organization called InfoSec Train, where the webinar has been like arranged by the team, the InfoSec Train team. And these are all some of the highlights and the inputs about the InfoSec Train. But yes, like the team is actually giving, or we are providing like a lot of certifications and a lot of training programs like in all the cybersecurity domain. Let us say the famous one, OSCP or PEN 200 or the CH, ECSA. So these kind of cybersecurity certifications, and you can get lot more information in their official website. Yeah, so I would suggest you to have a look on their website to get like more details about that. Like if you want to like what is it, enhance your skills in terms of the cyber security domain, yes, my suggestion would be yes. So please go and have a stuff, I mean, go and have a look on this particular one. So that is what like I would suggest now. Yeah, I'm just like moving to the next one. So these are all the clients, I mean, these are all the team or the set of clients of InfoSec Train. And if you see, like you will be able to see like most of the, yes, and if you see, like you are having like most of the people, I mean, most of the common or most of the top tech giants, I would say, TCS or Ericsson or EY. So these kind of like companies. Yeah, I'm just like moving to the next one. And yes, so now like you will be having this question. So why InfoSec Train? Like why I have to like, or why I have to like choose this? Yes, the reason is, these are all the reasons. Let me take the pointers. Yes, you are having the certified and experienced instructors, and also the flexible mode of trainings, offline and online, 24/7 support, and also the customization in terms of the topics, and also like you will be able to get the recorded sessions. And these are all the partner stuff like that the team is, I mean, the InfoSec Train is actually having. So the accreditation, I would say, in a single word. Yeah, and yeah, now we are just like entering into the topic, which is nothing but unveiling a DevOps. So this is a brief introduction about InfoSec Train, and the firm got established in 2016. And yes, InfoSec Train is one of the leading training consultants or training partners in terms of the cybersecurity domain, and they are like providing wide range of trainings in terms of the cybersecurity domain. So starting from PEN 200, OSCP, CASSP. So these are all the highly qualified certifications, right? And yes, and furthermore, you can just like deal with a lot of things, or you can get a lot of information from their official website. So second thing, yes, like we are having, I just like moved to the second slide. It's all about the trusted clients, like the clients of InfoSec Train. If you see, you are having like all the common names here, right? So the famous or the familiar names to you. So these are all the names actually we are having here. And I'm just like moving to the next slide. So what I have done is that I just joined from yes, so I'm not presenting, I'm just moving the PowerPoint because of this technical one. So now I just opened the same meeting in a different screen. So I'm monitoring the movement of the PPT as well to avoid the confusions and the stuffs. And yeah, so this is why you have to like the reasons of like why you want to choose the InfoSec Train. So you are having this certified and experienced instructors, and you are having the flexible modes of training. So yes, you will be having this post-training completion support 24/7, and the customized training materials for each and every training, the tailored training customized materials. And also like we are having the accreditation with Microsoft and EC Council, CompTIA. So these kind of like the globally recognized companies. Yeah, I'm just like moving to the next one. So we're just nothing but the unveiling DevSecOps. Yep. So I'm just like monitoring my stuff here in the next in the nearby screen. So if you are facing any issues there, yeah, so please do let me know. So that will actually help me to stop there, and I mean that will be like helpful for me to rectify that particular issue. And yes, without like wasting the time here, so we are just like entering into this the expected topic, unveiling DevSecOps and the hands-on journey. So where we are just like going to have this blended learning topic with the practical application, and I'm going to share a lot of information about this DevSecOps also in terms of the hands-on suite. Yeah, so I'm just like entering into the agenda of this particular stuff. Yep, so this is the agenda for this particular day, and we are going to talk about the overview of DevSecOps and the difference between DevOps and the DevSecOps, and the salary of the DevSecOps engineer, and the job description of a DevSecOps engineer, which I took from the common like job portals. And also like you are having this different DevSecOps life cycle stages, so the different life cycle stages. And also finally we are having the hands-on portion, where we are going to learn about GitHub Actions and Sneak. So these two integrations we are going to do by today at the end of this thing, and then we are having this Q&A section. Yeah, so without wasting or without like discussing about, so I'm just like entering into the actual topic, the overview of DevSecOps, right? I'm just directly jumping into the DevSecOps thing here. The first thing, what is this particular DevSecOps actually stands for? Like why we need this particular DevSecOps, and what does this particular DevSecOps means? So the DevSecOps means like you are having this DevSecOps. So it's a compound word which stands for the development plus security plus operations. So it stands for, it's a compound word combining these three words: development, security, and operations. And what is it DevSecOps will do? That will actually integrate the security practices into the DevOps process. So like you will, I mean, initially the DevOps process will deal only with the development and the operations activities, and inside that particular one you are actually having this security best practices. You will be integrating that particular security best practices. And where you will be integrating that particular security best practices, so you are going to include the security best practices at every stage of the software development life cycle. So for this we should know what are all the different software development life cycles there. So we have to like know about that. Then you are having this, I mean, from where we are having this, from the initial design of the application throughout the development phase, the deployment phase, and the maintenance phase. So we are actually integrating the security measures in all the stages throughout the software development life cycle, starting from the planning and till the deployment, and also in terms of the maintenance. And so this involves the secure coding methods as well. So starting from starting till the end, we are having this secure coding methods as well. We are going to involve into that, and that is what actually we are going to see. What are all the different stages we are having, and what are the tools that you are going to like implement that. So these topics actually we are going to discover out of this particular webinar. And then we are having this importance of DevSecOps. So what is the importance of DevSecOps here? Just a minute. Yeah, it's actually like moving in. Yeah, superb. So these are all the limited the importance of DevSecOps, I would say. The first one, it will enhance the security posture. So what does this security posture stands for? So this will actually help you to sorry. So this will actually help you to enhance the security posture of your application and security posture of your infrastructure. So how securely we are developing, or our security ranking of our application, that is what the security posture stands for. The second one we are having is the faster time to market. So what is this faster time to market we are having? So by implementing the security steps, you will be able to bring your application very fastly to the market, and you can sell that particular product to the customers. instead of waiting for that, like finding and fixing the security bugs internally in your organization. Third one, we are having this improved collaboration. So what does this improved collaboration stands for? Why I need this improved collaboration? So that particular improved collaboration, it enables the collaboration between the development team, security team, and the operations team. So like totally, like you will be dealing with these three teams. And finally, you are having this cost efficiency. So cost efficiency, let us say you are having a website, and if you are actually having that and that particular website is having some security bugs, and you are discovering at the in the production environment, and that will actually impact your the name, the brand name, and also it will impact the cost very much. So in order to manage this cost efficiency things and all, we have to incorporate the DevSecOps implementation in our setup. Fine, I'm just like moving to the next one, the key principles of DevSecOps, and why like you have to like achieve, or why you have to go for this DevSecOps. First of all, the thing is that the first thing is that you should the concept, the principle here is that you should go with this shift left approach. So what is this shift left approach? So you have to deal with, okay, let me, all good. So, what does this shift left security stands for? What is this principle all about? So, you are shifting left the security activities or security scanning to the development side, not in the production side. Initially, the security team will be a separate team. So, they will be like working as a separate team, and they won't mingle with like all the other people. But nowadays, after this DevOps implementation or DevOps age, so they just like implemented the security in the pipeline itself. And from where the pipeline will start? The pipeline will start from left to right. So left to right in the sense, at the left side you will be having the development section, and the right side you will be having the deployment section. So we are shifting left the security practices to the left side, which is your development stage. That is what the shift left security all stands for. Then you are having this automation, where you will be implementing the automation. So automation is the key. So zero click automation is the ultimate goal or ultimate aim here. Like, I mean, whenever you are committing the code, so everything should be done automatically. You are scanning, your deployment, you are monitoring everything. Then you are having this continuous monitoring. So you have deployed an application successfully, but you have to continuously monitor that particular application to discover the vulnerabilities, the real-time threats, the real-time vulnerabilities. Like one such example is your web application firewall. Your application is there, but you will be like continuously monitoring. So who are like accessing your application, from in which area the people are accessing that, right? So the region wise, and also compliance and governance. Your application should compliant to some of the standards. And also, like, let us say if your application is related with the hospital management, or dealing with the medical records, so your application or your all this entire activity should comply to the HIPAA standard. There is a standard called HIPAA, HIPPA. So that should comply to that. So these kind of activities we have to bring, or we should like enable that, and the DevSecOps will help you to like achieve that particular stuff. So I'm moving to the DevSecOps practices, or the next slide here. And the first one, you are having the security as a code, where you will be dealing with, you will be writing the code. Yes, once again, so please don't think that, okay, whether I have to write the development code or Python code kind of thing. No, not like that. You will be writing some YAML, you will be writing some configurations here, but ultimately you will be writing that as a code. So that's why we are calling that as security as a code. Then we are having this threat modeling. Threat modeling is a process where you will be discovering the vulnerabilities or the threats that might attack your application and the infrastructure. So we are having a lot of tools for that in order to do that threat modeling. And then you are having the static and dynamic analysis. The main section, the main process, the main area in terms of your DevSecOps pipeline. So those things are actually very much important here. And finally, we are having this container security. team, nowadays more all your applications are being shipped via containers or as a container or as a Docker images, right? So in order to manage that security as well, yes, we have to implement or we have to incorporate the DevSecOps here, right? So I'm just moving to the next topic for the day. Yes, the difference between DevOps and DevSecOps. So security as a code, okay, that is a good one. That is a good column. So one simple example I will give. You are going to create a DevSecOps pipeline. So in order to create that particular DevSecOps pipeline, what we are going to use, we are going to use a tool called, we are having a lot of tools, GitHub Actions, GitLab CI/CD, Jenkins, Azure DevOps, right? So the AWS code build, you can use whatever the tool, whatever the CI or CD tool you want. But how you will define the pipeline, the security pipeline? Are you going to use any manual stuff like what is that, like a UI stuff kind of thing in order to configure that? The answer is no. You will be writing the code in terms of Jenkins. You will be writing some groovy code. Okay, in terms of Jenkins, like you will be like going with this groovy code. The video just went off. No, I guess, because like I'm monitoring my video in another screen, so I'm using two screens. So please check your what is it, like your network. So here everything is good. So I'm monitoring in the next, I mean, another screen. And coming back to the question, security as a code. So you will be writing the steps or you will be telling the steps in terms of the code format instead of configuring that in a manual way or instead of configuring that in the UI way. So that is the or that is the what we are calling it as security as a code. But now we are actually in the age of, or we are in the zone of everything as a code. So we have to like deal with everything as a code here. So that is the step like we are having. Is writing the code responsibility of the security person or security team will review the code? A code review will be done by the engineering team, which means the development team. But is writing the code responsibility of the security person? Partially yes and partially no. So writing the code in the sense, there are two things here. The one code you can consider that as an application. Let me share my screen once again. So here, the question which you have posted as the first thing. So writing responsibility of the code. So code in the sense you have to deal with two things here. So one is the application code. So application code will be written by the respective developers, the engineering team or whatever the team like you can call. But there is another one code. So that will actually deal with the configuration of the setup. So our pipeline, so what is it, like you will be like configuring your pipeline and you will be configuring your infra, right? So these kind of things also will come under the code, and this will actually fall under the work of DevSecOps engineer. Okay, cool then, fantastic, excellent, right? So I'm just like moving to the next topic here. Yes, now I think like the uh, right? So here we are having this DevSecOps and the DevOps thing, right? So the first question we are having here is this. The first question like we are having here is this: what is DevSecOps and how does it differ from DevOps? Right? So DevOps is all about, let me start the pointer, laser pointer, that will actually give the more clarity to get this. Yes. So the first question, the difference between this DevOps and the DevSecOps. So DevSecOps is once again the practice of DevOps. I would call it as a mutation or a variant kind of thing. The similar set of activities you are doing, but you will be doing that with the security first mindset. So DevOps we have done with the help of the, or we have done with the mindset of automation, but this DevSecOps we are doing with the security mindset. So in order to learn DevSecOps, it's better to have some good knowledge or the basic knowledge in terms of DevOps. So that will actually give you the clear cut picture. But yes, going further, like the training and the program which infosec training is going to give. So for that, yes, you don't need to come up with the actual idea of DevOps, because we are going to cover like all the topics in the same curriculum as well. And the second thing we are having here is that, so how do I get started, how do I get started implementing the DevSecOps in project, right? So how we can just like implement that? So you can just start implementing the DevSecOps in the project, like implementing or adding the security specific tools in the existing pipeline, or creating the pipeline by using the security specific tools. And for that, you should know what are all the tools and what are all the activities or what are all the need of that particular tool. So that particular stuff like we have to do here, right? So yeah, super. So I'm just like going to the next one here, the next PPT. So this is the difference. Just a minute. It's getting some time to move that in the next screen. Yeah, super. Yes, we got it. So if you see, the DevOps will be dealing with the development, IT operations, and the application delivery. So it will deal only with the three things here. If you see the DevOps, it's a kind of Venn diagram, right? But if you see the DevSecOps, like the DevSecOps thing we are having, it will include the development, IT operations, and the application delivery, and also it will include the security point as well. So it will include the security topic as well, so security concerns as well. So that is what we are having, or we are calling it as DevSecOps. So you are adding all the things like development, operations, application delivery, everything, but at the same time you have included the security topic as well. So that is what actually we are having here, right? So I'm moving to the next one. Yes, if you see the screen, this is the example, one such example of a threat modeling setup. So before creating the application itself, or before like creating the application itself, what you are doing is that you are setting up, or you are identifying the threads, you are actually like identifying the threads which are actually coming up, or which might come up like in the future. So that particular thing, like we are calling it as thread modeling. Like if you see here, okay, so let me go ahead with this. Yeah, so let me go to this pen mode, and okay, sorry, so it's not working now. So here if you see, you are having the college library website, and you are dealing with the flow. So like you are dealing with this particular flow. Okay, college library website will talk with the database will talk with the database files and all. So likewise, you will be designing a diagram, the data flow diagram, and then based on that you will identify the respective thread, like what are all the different threads like that you are having. So you will be identifying the threads there. Any tool you recommend to threat modeling in, we are having a different topics or different session for the tools as well, so please give me some time. We are going to have some different what is it, we are having the tools for each and every stage as well. So I'm just talking only about the thread modeling. So this is what the thread modeling all about. So you will be getting an application, and you will be modeling the respective threads, and in order to identify the thread modeling, you are having some specific steps, something like that. So you are having the different set of steps in order to achieve that. Yeah, so like that you can just like check like while reading about the thread modeling, but I just want to give you a high level picture or high level idea here. Yeah, so I think like I hope like I have answered your question, the query, right? Shall I move to the next one? Yes, super. So we are having this the salary. I mean, the main thing, like how much like the people are actually paying for the DevSecOps engineers in the current world. So if you see, and this is not the older information. So please don't think that okay, so this is a kind of older one. So if you see, updated 13 May 2024. If you just like see the date here, updated 13 May 24, and I took this from the official superb website, the clear website called Glassdoor. So in this particular website, like if you see the salary, it's of very high confidence here, and the range is 18L to 16L for the beginner. It's not about senior or lead or kind of thing. So it's all about the basic website. I mean, sorry, the basic or the initial level of role, I would say, the DevSecOps engineer. So just check the range, the base pay range here, right? And yeah, this one I took it from another website called Ambition Box. And also, if you see, this one got updated by 17th May. So I'm just like projecting the very latest information here. And also, like if you see, it's very high confidence. So annual salary of a DevSecOps engineer. I'm not talking about senior, or I'm not talking about lead. So I'm just talking about the DevSecOps engineer, like who will be entering into that. Yeah. So these are all the pay scale. I mean the salary of the different people here, right? And then the next thing I want to discuss about the job description of a DevSecOps engineer. So what are all the roles and responsibilities of the DevSecOps engineer, like the people will do, right? So I'm just like entering into that. And so we are having this, I mean, this is a kind of one job description. I took that as a screenshot. And if you see the main thing here, the main stuff like we will be having here is this. So 3+ years of experience in application security on secure development specialty. So how you can get this 3+ years of experience, like without working on that, right? So like you will be okay, I will just go with this responsibilities first. Deploy security tools and processes. First thing, you should know the security tools. And establish and maintain automated security control. You should know the automation. And the third point, support development teams in implementing and integrating automated security testing. So we should know how to integrate those particular tools in the pipeline way, right? And also we are having this analyze requirements to plan, right? So you have to like plan and conduct the testing whether it is working fine or not. It's a kind of like checking the compliance, and also monitor and support the installed systems and the infrastructure. It's all about the continuous monitoring. So we are going to learn about the tools or the process responsible for that. Yeah. And yes, Mr. Freeheart, yeah, I will take your question. Yeah, so I will complete the technical things first, then I will take your question at the end. Yeah, so I just noted your question. And then what they are expecting here, like if you see the masters or in the related fields, either in the software engineering, all good. So 3+ years of application security or secure development. So this 3+ years of experience you can achieve by taking some pure hands-ons. Like yeah, you can just like take some pure hands-ons via the course which Infosec train is actually going to like offer, right? So it's purely a hands-on thing, and we are going to discuss about that particular stuff as well. And then if you see the expert knowledge level, secure development lifecycle, and the technologies such as SAST, SCA, DAST, and DevSecOps tool chain. Like you should have the good understanding in terms of DevSecOps tool chain, and also like you should have this idea of DevSecOps maturity model. So these kind of things we are going to discuss now, and this I took it from the official site of one of the top product based companies. This is actually a job description. Okay, so this is actually a job description actually we are having here. And also we are having this, if you see, these are all some of the tools, and these tool sets will change based on the organization. So some of the organizations will go with open source, and some of the organizations will go with the different tool sets here. And then you are having this, the final point, if you see, you will stand out. When you will stand out, so if you know this concept called infrastructure as a code and container and image security scanners, so you should know that you should know how to deal with this infrastructure as a code, and also you should deal with container security and container and image security scanners as well. So these are all the basic things which will make you as the DevSecOps engineer, like comparing with this DevOps, right? So yep, So you can just like now, like you can, okay, I'm just like, I think like we are done with this job description discussion, and now we are going to enter into the actual topic of this DevSecOps lifecycle and the essential tools. Now I'm taking the question. I'm an internal auditor with experience in ITGC audit. So how I can start a career in DevOps or DevSecOps? So yes, definitely you have the first thing in order to, I would suggest you to start with the DevSecOps if you are a fresher. If you are a DevOps engineer, yes, like I would suggest all of you to move to the DevSecOps area. But if you are just like starting your career in, switch to the career of DevSecOps, I would suggest you to start with the DevSecOps as well. And that particular the entry point would be the curriculum which the InfoSec train has already provided as a part of the DevSecOps program with pure hands-ons. So that actually having all those what is it, like all those steps, like whatever the steps we have discussed, right? SCA, SAST, DAST, and infrastructure as a code and compliance. So it will include all the hands-on portion. It's not a kind of theoretical one, so it's a hands-on portion. By attending that particular one, yes, definitely that will be the pure game changer of your life, I would say. And okay, coding stack needed for DevSecOps. Coding stack, for some extent or to the initial sort of thing, if you are a DevSecOps engineer, the coding stack is not needed. But going further, like if you want to go further and further more in this, like let us say senior DevSecOps engineer or lead DevSecOps engineer or a DevSecOps manager, right? So those kind of things, you should know at least the basic scripting knowledge, either using the bash scripting or by using the Python scripting. Yep. So hope I have answered like both your questions. So team, are we all good here? I'm just like expecting some thumbs up or yes or no message in the chat. So that will actually help me to proceed further. Yeah. So just give me a minute. I think like my laptop is getting some issues. So just give me a minute. So I'm just moving to the next one, the actual topic, the most interesting topic, I would say, right? So what are all the different life cycles in DevSecOps and the essential tooling? Yeah, we are going to learn about the tooling method here. So the different tooling method we are having. So the first and foremost thing we are having here, the first and foremost thing, or the initial set of stuffs like in terms of this DevSecOps we are having here is planning and designing. So I think the PPT, yes, superb. So now the screen got changed. So if you see here, the first and foremost thing you have to do is planning and designing. So what is this all about, planning and designing here? So what are the things like you will be doing in terms of this planning and designing? So you are under this planning and designing, you are having this thing called thread modeling. The first and foremost process you will be doing here is this thread modeling. And what is the purpose of this particular thread modeling? So why you have to do this thread modeling actually? So the thing is that you have to identify the potential security threats and the vulnerabilities during the design phase itself. So like finding the errors or finding the issues at the runtime is actually a big headache, or that will actually cost a lot. So for that, what we are actually having is that we are actually using this thread modeling process. Okay, so now I told about this thread modeling process and all, but what are all the tools I have to use for this? So there is a tool called Microsoft thread modeling tool, or you can use this OAS thread dragon. So these kind of things, okay, these kind of steps will definitely help you to achieve this thread modeling. So these are all the most commonly used tools. So you are having a lot of alternate tools as well, but I'm just like giving you the most widely used tools here, right? So I think like someone posted the question like in terms of why or what you need this I mean, what are all the tools like I have to use for the AWS or Azure kind of thing. So it's not a cloud agnostic. These tools are actually cloud agnostic one. So you don't need to so you don't need to like what is it go ahead with the basic cloud and all, right? So so here, this you can use this particular tool like OWASP Thread Dragon, most widely used tool in order to what is it design your threads, the modeling. But for that, you need to know the process. There are a lot of processes for this particular thread modeling as well. So some of the process, I mean, one such process is called as stride. So they will be using some process, and based on that particular process, they will be doing this thread modeling, right? So you have to know the process, you have to understand the application first, and also you should know how to use these kind of tools. This is the first one. Second, I'm going here for the security requirements documentation. So what is the purpose of the security requirement? So you have to identify, you have to gather the security requirements. What are all the different requirements? And you have to document and manage those requirements, security requirements, like how to manage your vulnerabilities and how to manage your application securely. So for these kind of things, you have to use some documentation tools called Confluence or Notion or Jira to manage the or track the requirements, whether the requirements have been whether the requirements has been like have been implemented or not. So these kind of tools you can use. So yes, we have learned about the thread modeling tools and also security requirements and the documentation tools. Then we are having this secure coding practices. Yes, so I'm just like entering into the phase 2. Yep. So phase 2. So here in phase 2, we are having this development and coding. What are all the tools that you have to include during the development and the coding phase? The first thing, you have to implement the secure coding practices. So if to the developers, you have to educate the developers. So educate the developers on secure coding practices to prevent the common vulnerabilities. So what I have done here, like in the setup, what I have suggested or what I have trained most of the people means. So we included the some of the linting tools, the extensions directly in the IDE itself, integrated development environment. So that will actually continuously prompt your secure coding practices. And what are all the tools you can use? So you can follow the OWASP secure coding practices, or you can use the secure code warrior. So these kind of tools you can use for the secure coding. And the main and for superb, or the main thing we are entering here, static application security testing. We call that particular thing as SAST. So SAST stands for static application security testing. What it will do, what is the purpose here? So you have to, or it is, the purpose is to analyze your source code, like whatever the source code you are writing. So that will be analyzed here for the security vulnerabilities. And when it will be like analyzed during the development phase itself. So that is another one highlight here. And what are all the tools you are having? You are having this tools called the SonarQube, and you can use check marks, or you can use Fortify static code analyzer. But most widely nowadays we are having this particular tools, or we are having this particular tool called SonarQube got added. So SonarQube is the SonarQube is the most widely used tool here. So SonarQube is the most widely used tool here, right? So I just wanted to like mention that. Yep. So I'm just moving to the third phase, which is nothing but okay. I got a question. So from this program, are an understanding of Spring Boot application development and Jenkins absolutely required? For this program, no, you will be learning all those things. And first thing, like you have to, as a DevOps or a DevSecOps engineer, so you have to like understand this particular one. whether you have to understand the program. I mean whether you need to understand the Spring Boot application or Python application or not. No, the answer is no. You don't need to understand those things, but you have to know the process of converting that particular application into a deployment file. Okay, so Jenkins, we will teach. I mean, you will learn about the Jenkins. You will get the hands-ons on the Jenkins from zero to hero. So lots of time goes on identifying the false positive cases out of scan findings. How to deal with this as delivery timelines are always tight? Okay, Saurabh, that is a good question. So false positive, if you are keep on getting this false positive in a frequent manner, what you can do is that you can suppress, or you can just like eliminate that by writing the exceptional code you are having. I mean, whatever the tool you are using, I'm not sure, but you can give the exception, or you are having the options, or you are having the configurations to skip that false positives, right? So to I mean, you don't need to scan this particular one, so you can just like give the exceptional cases there. So for that, what you have to do, you have to like read about that particular tool, and with, I mean, you should not like use the default configuration. You should customize that configuration which is associated with that particular tool. One such example, I would say, the Trufflehawk. So Trufflehawk will scan for your secrets in your code. So you have to customize that particular tool. Customization in the sense, okay, now you will be asking the question whether I have to write the code to customize that. No, you don't need to write the code, but you can customize that particular tool with the help of configurations. You don't need to change the behavior of the tool, but change the or implement the configuration on top of that. That is what I will suggest, like in most of the cases. And yeah, I'm entering into the third phase here, the build and integration. So the build and integration phase, where, I mean, this is why you should know, okay, a basic understanding of DevOps or DevSecOps engineer should be, if someone gives an application source code, you should know, I mean, you don't need to check like each and every line of that particular code, but you should know what are all the steps that you need to do in order to deploy that as an application. So they will just give only the source code. So you should know what are all the process, or what is the process to deploy that particular stuff into the respective server. So these kind of things you should know as a basic understanding or a basic idea. Yep, I'm just like entering into the next thing here. So the third phase is build under the integration phase, where we are having this dependency management. So what is this dependency management? So what this will do, it will scan the open source libraries under the dependencies, and it will check for the known vulnerabilities. So what are all the tools you are using? So you can use this dependent bot or white source or Sneak, and we are going to have this particular hands-ons on Sneak application today. And this is all about the dependency management. I mean, so team, if you are having any questions or queries, so please post there and then and there itself, so that like it will be easy for me to answer your questions, yeah, or even it will be easy for me to track your questions. And then we are having this particular one. This is SCA. Yes, Madhavi, your understanding is right. This is SCA. SCA stands for Software Composition Analysis. Yes, your understanding is right. Superb. Are these tools open source? Rajkumar, for some extent, I mean, all the tools are having not open source actually. So for open source, you have to check the OASP thing. So these tools are actually offering the free versions. So you can use that free versions in order to understand your learning, right? And but in order to implement that at the organization level or the enterprise level, yes, definitely you should go for the licensing or the subscription model. Checkmarks also used for the same, correct? Checkmarks is the brand name. Under Checkmarks, you are having a lot of tools. So that will do SCA, that will do SAST, that will do DAST. So Checkmarks is a brand. So under that, you are having multiple tools. Automated build process. So for this automated build process, we are having different tools called Jenkins, GitHub Actions, GitLab CI/CD. So these kind of tools are that. So what is the purpose of these particular tools? In order to create the pipeline. So these tools will be used in order to create the CI/CD pipeline. And today in our session, in this particular webinar, we are going to use this tool called GitHub Actions. We are going to use this GitHub Actions tool. Yeah, I'm going for the next thing here. After completing this phase 4, we can take a small break, a short break of 5 minutes, so that like the team can get the re-energize and they can just like come back, right? So we can take a 5 minutes break after this particular phase 4. And what is this particular phase 4 will all deal about? So they will deal about this testing and the validation. So under this testing and the validation, you are having this first topic called dynamic application security testing. And what is the purpose of this dynamic application security testing? The applications will be running in one server, and you will be using these particular tools to simulate an external attacks. So that is what we are calling it as dynamic application security testing. So you have to configure these tools against your application, mainly the web applications, to check whether you are having any vulnerabilities at the runtime. So the tools which you are using here is this. You can use 𝐸𝐴SP-ZAP, you can use burp shoot, you can use 𝐸𝐚, and here 𝐸𝐴SP-ZAP is the fully open source tool. And then we are having this IAST, interactive application security testing. And what this particular thing will do, it is the combination of your SAST and the DAST. So it will perform both the SAST and the DAST simultaneously to get more more vulnerability detection. So the tools which you can use here for this: Contrast Security, Veracode, and HCL AppScan. So these kind of tools are available in the market. Then finally, the important one, the container security testing. Because like you are delivering all the images, I mean you are delivering all the applications in terms of the containers. So for that, we should have this container image scanning. For what purpose? To identify the vulnerabilities and the misconfigurations before deploying that particular application. So what are all the tools that you can use? You can use this tools called Aqua Security, and also like you can use this tools called Twistlock, Prisma Cloud, or you can use this Anchor, or you can use a lot of open source tools or the Trivi. So Trivi is the one of the fantastic tools which I am using on a daily basis on the implementation, not in the hands-on phase yet. So these are all the things like which will come under your these are all the things, I mean these are all the stuffs like which will actually come under your the testing and the validation phase. All right, so team, do you have any questions like at this moment? If yes, please post that, or we can take a small break. DAST can be used for client server or only for the web applications. So DAST, I mean client server in the sense, I'm not sure like in which format like you are talking about. So what you have to do is that you have to like, what is it like, your application should be up and running in terms of any web server. That's it. That might be a client server or that might be a web application. So whatever the things. SAST, actually we have seen in the previous slide. We have like used the SonarQube or Sonar Cloud. We have seen that in the previous slide, and hope like you just like had a look on that, if I'm not wrong. Or no, I'm not able to get the question. If SAST means like what can you please like what is it like, just like elaborate your question there? What is SAST and how it works? Actually we have seen that in the second slide itself. So it will actually scan your source code. So I hope like you just like have looked that particular one, if I'm not wrong. So that will actually like scan your source code here. Like it will just like scan the source code directly, and the tool like which you have to use is that SonarQube, checkmarks, or Fortify code analyzer. So these are all the tools. Yes, SBOM also I mean the Sneak, these kind of tools will do that. So that is actually related with your SCA. that is related with your SCA. So the SBOM like thing like which you are used here is that like so. So that actually like related with your SCA itself, and for that particular one also you are having some tools in order to like check that. So that is purely once again related with the licensing kind of thing. Yes. So the phase 5 is using the deployment and the release activities. So what are all the different things you will be doing here? The first thing, you are having this infrastructure as a code. I already told the infrastructure as a code is actually mandatory here. So you will be writing the code for this infrastructure as a to maintain the infrastructure, but inside that you have to maintain the security best practices. You have to manage the security best practices in this IAC. So what is this security best practices you can do, or with what are all the different tools you can use? So one such tool is called the Terraform with the TFSec, and lot of alternate tools also available here. So TFSec, and you are having this AWS Cloud Formation Guard. So these kind of tools you can implement. And once again, I'm telling these are all the tools I am suggesting, but the tool's name will change once again based on the the tool's name will change, or the tool's configuration will change based on the real implementation. So real world app, right? So then we are having this continuous deployment. So in the continuous deployment, yes, once again like we are having this particular stuff like you are having this what is the purpose of this the thing like in terms of this continuous deployment. So it will help us to like what is the automate the deployments, right? So directly like it will take the Docker image and it will actually like deploy the deploy the Docker image into the Kubernetes cluster or whatever the stuff like actually you have planned. So that is the purpose of this continuous deployment. And for that, what are all the tools like we are having? We are using this Jenkins, we are using this GitHub Actions, and also like we are using this GitLab CI/CD. So these kind of tools, yes, you will be doing that. You will be using this tool. And the next topic or the next phase here is that we are having this so we are having this phase 6, where we are having this operations under the monitoring. So under operations and monitoring, we are having this continuous monitoring, where we have to monitor the applications under the infrastructure continuously, which means 24/7. And what are the tools you will use? You will use this tools called Splunk. You will use these tools called Elk-Stack, Elasticsearch, Logstash, Kibana, or IBM QRadar, and lot of other tools. I mean, there are some fantastic tools called Prometheus and Grafana as well in order to like do the monitoring. And then you are having the incident response management. So whenever what is the purpose of this? So you have to manage and respond to the security incidents like whenever it is occurring. And what are all the tools like you will use? You will use this tool called the PagerDuty, Splunk, Phantom, the Hive, and in addition to that, you are having other set of tools as well. You are having all other sort of tools as well. Then the next, I'm going to the next phase. So these are all the tool listings. I mean the tool chains I'm talking about. All right. And we are having this another tool called the phase 7. We are having this compliance and governance. The first thing we have to deal with is automated compliance auditing. So what is the purpose of automated compliance? So you are having some infrastructure and you need to identify, you need to confirm whether your infrastructure is maintaining or validating against the industry standards or not. So for that, what we are using this tools called Chef Inspect, and also we are having this tools called OpenSCAP. Once again, you have to write the code for this. So we call this as compliance as the code or policy as the code here. And then you are having this regular security audits. So what is the regular security audits? Like you will be doing the regular security audits in terms of your infrastructure and your application as well. So continuously it will validate continuously it will do the auditing. And for that, you have to use this tool called NSS, Qualys, Rapid7 Insight VM. So these kind of tools are available, but these tools are not an open source one. But the automated compliance tools, those are actually open source, but these tools are not the open source one. And then finally, we are entering into the final phase, which is nothing but your feedback and continuous improvement. Yes. So in the feedback and continuous improvement, we are having this tool for this phase, for the stage called the post-incident analysis. We will be using the tools called Jira and Confluence. What happened actually? Why that particular incident happened? We usually call this as blameless postmortems. So in terms of SRE terminology, we usually call this as blameless postmortem. So we will be like creating the report, the root cause analysis, why this happened and how this happened and all. And where we will be storing that, we will be storing that in the Confluence tool. And then we are having this so and then like we are just like having the next one here, the continuous learning and the improvement. So you have to continuously do the learning as a DevOps or DevSecOps engineer. You have to continuously do the learning in terms of the applications and the configurations and all. I mean the different set of tools, the updates, the advancements in terms of cloud and other sort of tools. And for that, what you have to do, you have to do the continuous learning by using common platforms or the courses like how like the InfoSec trainees actually providing, right? So these kind of courses will help you to upskill or upgrade yourself continuously. And also like the improvement, the retrospectives, where you can use this agile based tools like Jira or Trello kind of thing, right? And so these are all the tool sets. I mean these are all the different tool sets that we are having. And now we have to like enter into the hands-on section, the GitHub actions and Sneak. So first, for your first question, yes, you can create your own template. So because you are going to own your infrastructure, you are going to own your application. So it's yes, the possibility yes. And which tool is better for that? The thing is that yes. So because like I'm not biased to any sort of tools here, but usually like I will go with the open source tools. And for this particular one, yes, please do the SWOT analysis. So team, once again, this is a new learning. A new learning I want to like share here. If you want to pick a tool, let us say you want to pick a tool. So how like you can pick the tool? This might be your interview question also. Okay, if you are a DevSecOps engineer, we just discussed with lot of different tools. How you will pick your tool? So you will pick your tool only via this particular SWOT analysis. So you can just like use this particular SWOT analysis. Yeah, so Saurav posted like another one superb methodology, so the door thing. So you can just like use that. Yeah, you are having a lot of like the process thing here. Yeah, so now I want to share another one fantastic thing. You might have seen that already, as you are already having some exposure towards that. Please have a look on the screen. So there is a stuff called DevSecOps periodic table. So how like we have learned that periodic tables during the chemistry, during our chemistry sessions or chemistry lessons, right? So like this, you are having another one thing called DevSecOps periodic table, where you will be having the similar set of tools for the what is it, like your DevSecOps implementation. So please have a look on that and just like explore about the tools, like what are all the tools that you are already aware, and what are all the tools that you can implement, and what are all the tools that you can bring in, right? So these kind of things you can just like do as a demo or as a hands-ons. What we are going to do is that we are going to learn, or we are going to take one Java application. Okay, so that is the training. I mean that is the hands-ons, like we are going to complete this with the hands-on. So we are going to take one Java application, and what we are going to do is that we are going to integrate Sneak with this, for this particular Java application, to scan the vulnerabilities. To scan the vulnerabilities, we are going to create the code. For the first time, it will be a kind of it is to scan the vulnerabilities, like we are going to use the Sneak and in the GitHub actions pipeline. So for the first time, it will be a kind of a new thing to you, right? But yes, I mean we will just like take like lot of, or we will learn lot of things in the course itself or during the certification program itself. But I just wanted to implement or introduce to you with the respective tools. So for that, first what we have to do is that we have to check that, or we have to take this particular repository. So this is one such repository. So this repository you are having, right? So Java reach up. Okay, that was not yet shown in the screen because the yeah, so now it is actually visible. If you see the Java Reachability Playground, so what is this Java Reachability Playground is? This was actually created by Synk itself. So what it is having is that it is an intentionally vulnerable application. So which means this application is having the vulnerabilities by its own. So what we are going to do is that, like this, we are going to take one source code and we are going to use that particular source code in order to scan for the vulnerabilities. This is the kind of like DevSecOps, right? So we are going to take this particular code. So what I have done is that I forked that to my repo. I just forked that to my repo. So even you can use this particular repo, Synk Java Reachability Playground, and I am going to write the code for this in order to how to add the Synk and all. Okay, so I'm just without wasting further ado, I'm just like entering into that. The first thing what we have to do is that we have to create the GitHub Actions pipeline. So what is this GitHub Actions will do? So team, once again I'm telling, or once again I'm registering here, we are having only less amount of time. So within that particular time, I cannot like explain the entire thing of GitHub Actions pipeline, but we will just like have a look on this in the actual setup. So the first thing, what is this particular GitHub Actions? What is this particular GitHub Actions will do means it is a CI/CD pipeline creation tool. So this will actually help you to create the continuous integration and the continuous deployment pipeline. And what we are going to do is that we are going to create a pipeline, so that will use that the pipeline will use Synk, and that Synk will scan the vulnerabilities in the application, in the particular Java application. So this is the setup. So this is the ultimate aim. So okay, I think like it's a spelling mistake is there. Yeah, so just like leave it. So what is Synk is doing? It is actually doing this SCA here. So here the Synk is actually doing the SCA. So SCA stands for Software Composition Analysis. So SCA stands for Software Composition Analysis. Right? So this is what actually we are going to achieve. So for that, what we have to do, or what are all the requirements here, is that we should know how to write a pipeline in GitHub Actions, and we should know how to integrate Synk here. So that is those are all the two steps here. So integration of Synk. Okay, so now I'm going to like enter into by writing the pipeline, the first step, right? So I'm just like entering into the pipeline right now. So here I have already created a pipeline, but I'm going to use the similar pipeline by using a different name. I'm going to use the similar pipeline by using the different name. So I have entered into the GitHub repo, but it is not at reflected in the screen. Yes, now like you will be able to see. So how you have to create the pipeline in terms of GitHub Actions? So first in that repo, you have to create a file. You have to create a directory called .github. So please understand .github is the keyword. So .github, and you have to create a directory called workflows. So all the workflows should be inside this particular directory. So .github/workflows. Okay, yep, superb. So, yeah. So this part you have to enter into the repo. You have to create your directory like this .github/workflows, and inside that particular directory only you have to create the pipeline file, and that pipeline file will be in terms of your YAML format, right? That will be in terms of your YAML format. And here you are having this format called you can just give like the name. So I'm just giving the name as DevSecOps pipeline. You can give like whatever the name you want, but it should ends with .yml or .yaml. So you have to like create the pipeline in this particular way only. With this particular name. So now I'm going to create the pipeline with this name let me go ahead with this. I'm already having the .github repository. Yes, I'm already having the .github repository. I'm entering into that. Then I'm already having this workflows. There is an option called workflows. I'm entering into the workflows directory as well. And inside that, I'm already having this. I entered into the workflows directory as well. Yes, so if you see the path .github workflows, and inside that I'm going to create another one file. How I'm creating that particular file means by clicking on this add file option. So I'm by clicking on this add file option. So I'm having this, I'm just clicking on this add file here. So create new file, and inside in that particular new file I'm giving the file name as devsecops-pipeline.yaml. So yes, it will yeah, if you see I entered this devsecops-pipeline.yaml. So this is how like you have to create the first set of pipeline, so the first set of implementation, right? So that is how you have to do. And what I'm going to do is that I'm going to take the sample pipeline, like instead of like typing this all, I mean in order to save your time, I'm going to take some code from the main.yaml as well. So I'm just like using this particular name itself, the same file. And here, if you see, I have pasted the YAML file here. I mean, I just like pasted the YAML file in this. It is a sample one. What I'm doing is that, okay, it's not yet reflected in the another screen. I'm just like monitoring that. I copied the sample YAML file and I pasted there. So what this YAML file will do? The first thing, it is the name. So the name is actually example workflow for Maven using Snyk. So I gave the name of that particular file. Name of the particular pipeline or the workflow. And the second line we are having this on push. So what is this on push stands for? So when this particular workflow should be triggered. So you are having the workflow, so that should be triggered, right? So when this particular workflow should be triggered. So for that we are having this on push. So whenever you are pushing the code to the master branch, so your pipeline will be triggered, right? So team, once again I'm registering the point here, considering the time. So considering that time, so that's why I'm just like going in this particular flow, because like I have to respect others time as well. So considering the time, I'm just like putting this in the I'm just like going ahead with the minimal step here. And the second one is on push. So what is this on push will do? It will actually execute the workflow whenever you are pushing the code to the master branch. And the third, we are having this jobs. So under the jobs, we will be telling what are all the jobs we are going to do. So what are all the jobs we are going to do? We are going to do the SCA implementation. Then security is the name of the job. So we are just like going ahead with the security. So that is the name of the job that we are actually dealing with. So then we are having this runs on Ubuntu latest. So what is the purpose of this runs on Ubuntu latest means? You need a machine to execute this particular pipeline, right? So without having any missions, you cannot do anything. So in order to execute this particular pipeline, you need a machine. So that particular machine will be done on runs on Ubuntu latest. Then there you are mentioning the steps. So what are all the steps you have to do? So first I have to take the code. So whatever the code we are having, right? So we have to take that particular code. In order to take that particular code, we are using this actions called actions checkout at master. So what it will do, it will just like take the code, it will just clone the code here. So that is the purpose of this actions checkout master. So team, this will be a kind of like newer one if you are seeing this GitHub actions for the first time. But yes, no issues. Like in the particular the certificate program, yes, we will be like learning in detail each and every depth. So I won't like go in a fast-paced manner, but considering the time, I'm just like going in this particular way. Then okay, these are all the steps. So now what is the next step I have to do? What is the next step I have to do? So next step, I have to add the sneak here. I have to add the sneak here. So how I can add this particular sneak? So for that, what you have to do is that you have to enter into a option, or you have to enter into the place called marketplace. So please search for GitHub marketplace. So please search for GitHub marketplace, and in the marketplace only you are having the actions for the actions for your okay, I think okay, okay, I think it's GitHub Actions Marketplace. So it's called as GitHub Actions Marketplace. Okay, so you have to like go for the GitHub Actions Marketplace. So if you just like search the change the keyword, it will just like come. Okay, you have to come to the GitHub Actions Marketplace. And in the GitHub Actions Marketplace, we are having this options for Snyk. So just search for Snyk, SYNK. So that is the tool name, SNYK. So this is the name, and there, if you are seeing the some of the filters, or you got some of the filters there. So like Snyk app action here. So here you have to pick the action. So you have to like click on the actions on the right top, like I just filtered Snyk, and like it's particular, likewise, I mean whatever the tools you are going to like implement, you have to search for that particular tool. So now I'm going to like use Snyk, so that's why I'm just like selecting this Snyk action here. If you click on that particular action, so it will explain about how to use this particular Snyk action. So it will actually like give how to use this particular Snyk action. Yes, superb. We got that. So Snyk, this is the documentation how to use. And now what we are doing is that we are actually using the we are actually okay. Which programming language we are using? We are using this Java. So Java programming language is based out of Maven. So these kind of basic understanding we should have as a DevOps or DevSecOps engineer. This is what I told at the very beginning. You don't need to learn the coding, but you should know what are all the tools or what are all the setup that you will do in order to implement a Java based program, or PHP based program, or Node.js based program, or Golang based program. So here we are using this Maven. So Maven is the option, or Maven is the thing we are going to use. And if you click on that particular one, you will be having the steps for that, like what are all the steps you have to use. So you can just like use that particular steps here. I just clicked on the Maven link, and it will just like open, it will open the respective documentation. See, we are having this documentation. So simply copy this particular step, and paste it in our setup here. So whatever the things we are having, right? So just copy and paste it in the pipeline which we have created. So because it needs to run the Snyk for vulnerability check, and just like copy and paste that. So now we have pasted this particular one, and what this thing will do means it will actually open, or it will go for the Snyk website. Okay, it will go for the Snyk website, and before that you have to create the you should create an account in the Snyk vulnerability. So you should have a Snyk account opened there. So you should like register for that. Either you should do the login for this particular website, either using this GitHub, and also I have done this using the GitHub. So you have to like enter into this, you have to create an account in terms of this particular Snyk, either by using this GitHub or Google kind of thing, right? That is the next step we have to do. So first step, go to the GitHub, create the pipeline, write the pipeline, and then next step, go to the Snyk and create an account there. Time, yes, I'm not able to, what is that, like give the exact or the full detailed information here, but I have already done this particular one. So I'm already having the account here, so that's why like it's actually logged in automatically. So now what we have done is that we wrote the code to scan the sneak. So now my GitHub actions should speak with sneak. How that particular integration will happen? So how that particular integration will happen here? So using the sneak token, so you have to take the sneak token from sneak website and you have to add that in the GitHub actions pipeline. You have to mention that in the GitHub actions pipeline. So that is how you will be using the sneak, or that is how like your GitHub actions will speak with the sneak. If you see line number 11, if you see line number 11, there is a stuff called sneak token, and also you are having this secrets dot sneak token. So how you can achieve this, or how you can take this token, means you have to go to the dashboard of sneak, right? Let just wait, like it is getting like upgraded, or it is getting reflected in your machine. So you have to like go to the sneak website, go to click on the click on the option here, and there you will be having the account settings. So go to your user profile, which is at the bottom, right? Which is at the bottom. You are having at the bottom you are having the account settings. Then you will be entering into the general section. You will be entering into the general section here, and there you will be having the authentication token. So if you see, there is a stuff called authentication token. I'm not going to click on this because that will reveal my entire key. But what you have to do is that you have to take that, or you have to click on that particular key. You have to copy that particular authentication token, then come to the GitHub repo, right? Come to the GitHub repo, then add it under the settings section. So go to the settings, and there will be an option called secrets and variables. So I mean, in the respective repository, go to the settings option, right? Because like there is a lag in this stuff, that's why like I mean, you are not able to like see that. So go to the settings repo and go to the settings thing, and under your settings page will look like this, and under this you will be having the secrets and variables. So under the security section you will be having the secrets and variables, and there you can click on the actions. Yes, we got that, and I'm clicking on the actions here. So if you click on the actions, it will open the new page there, and under that you will be having the repository secrets. You should not directly enter the token into the code, any sort of code. And under the repository secrets, you have to click on the new repository secret, and you have to create a new token. So I'm already having this particular one. Okay, so I'm already having this particular one, so I'm not editing that. So you have to click on the new repository secret token, and you have to add that particular authentication token there. Then after adding this, what you have to do is that you have to come to the file, you have to come to the workflow file which we have created. So here if you see, we are having this, and this is the syntax to access that particular token or particular values. So dollar double curly braces secrets dot sneak token, right? So this is how like we have to access. Now I'm committing this changes. I'm going to commit this changes here. So I'm just giving the commit message. Yeah, so if you see, I'm just giving the commit message, and we are just like directly entering into the setup here. So I'm directly committing to the master branch, and I'm committing the changes here. Okay, so this one got committed, the file got committed, and this will be the final step. What we are going to do is that actually we are going to see the actions, so how it got executed. So that is what we are going to see as the next step. Yes, if you see, the file got committed here, right? So what you have to do is that you have to move to the actions tab. If you see at the top, if you see at this particular top here, you are having three things. I mean, you are having this code pull requests, actions tab kind of thing. So what you have to do is that you have to click on this actions tab. So you have to click on the actions tab here. I clicked on the actions tab. So what we have done is that we have just like created a pipeline, and it will just like look into that. And if you see, one pipeline got failed. So one pipeline got failed and one pipeline got successfully triggered. So I'm clicking on this particular pipeline. If you see the security pipeline, whatever create DevSecOps pipeline, so that is what actually we have created just now, and we entered into the we entered into the job. Security is the job that we have created, and then if you click on this particular security, it will actually display the set of items. Like it will actually like display the set of items we are having here, right? Okay, so I think this is the failed pipeline. Let me open the successful pipeline here. This is because I'm having two pipelines, that's why like it is actually creating. So let me open the successful pipeline here, which triggered now. And if you see the successful pipeline, I just like opened the successful pipeline here. So I'm opening the job. We are going to see what are the different actions. So if you see, it is a successful pipeline here. Yeah, and you are having like all the options, like whatever the pipeline we have added, right? So it actually cloned the code. If you see the third step, run actions checkout master, it actually cloned the code. Then after that, it executed the sneak to check the vulnerabilities. So see, it executed the sneak vulnerabilities. I think like, okay, authentication failed. Okay, I think this is because like my okay, just a minute. I think like my this is because of this token got expired. So just give me a minute. Let me take the latest token, because I should not like showcase the token directly in the screen. So that is another one security issue, because we are learning about the DevSecOps, and if I show the token directly in the screen, then that is another one security issue. Even you should not like do that. Yes, I updated the code, I updated the token there, and now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to add another one small change in the pipeline. Or either I can add the small change in the pipeline, or I can add the changes in the README file. Let me add a new space just to like bring some changes. So if I do the changes here, I just like did the changes in the README file. So team, please give me like 1 more minute. So nothing will happen here. Sorry, please give me like 2 more minutes. Like we will close the session like on time. So I don't want to like waste your time at this particular moment. So I updated the code, but now it got reflected. Now I'm going to the actions tab once again in order to check that. And if you see, the pipeline got successfully triggered, and now I'm just like checking what is the exact issue. So what happened, whether it scanned the sneak or not. Yes, and if you see, now it scanned the entire vulnerabilities. If you see, I'm just like opening that, it now scanned the entire vulnerabilities in my code. So this is a high level input, I would say, right? This is a high level input, but whenever like we are entering into the actual session, so there we will be like able to get, or we will be able to see the step by step manner, as we will be having the good amount of time there. Because today I plan to like showcase this particular demo to you, but considering the time, or considering the limitations of the time, I just like did in the fast forward mode. And if you see, I expanded the sneak to check the vulnerabilities, and if you see the line number 11, so sneak actually identify 24 issues and 24 vulnerable paths. If you see the line number 11, are you able to see that? So what we have done, so sneak entered into our repo, and it actually identified the vulnerabilities and the issues. So basically, this is what the sneak will do in terms of your software composition analysis.